Who's on image? No, it's not Brad Pitt's ex, Jennifer Aniston, who has same type of background and entirely hushed down in the industry. If you want to understand what is going on globally, read 5 to 9 Occult World. When I was randomly stating in automatic talking about Katie Price being Jewish, well, guess what? Turns out I was right. And I want to make a significant statement about Peter Andre and his family roots. I had some spare time, and as I remote view everyone's nature, I do not always read about them prior. I am now understanding that Katie Price is Jewish and why the MSM is hollering non-stop about her. And this is one of the many examples I bring up of a corrupted world that is not honest with simple people like us, and the disclosure swamp that operates very similarly. We are inferior. I have looked into her mother's side and biological father's side, Mr. Ray Infield. The Jewish heritage in Katie Price's family actually comes from her mother's side. Heritage breakdown. Maternal grandmother. Katie Price's maternal grandmother was Jewish. Her mother, Amy Charlier, carries this lineage, which also introduces Italian and Spanish ancestry to the family. Ray Infield, he is of English descent. Because of her maternal ancestry, Katie Price is of mixed English-Jewish descent, so potentially very similar to Miles Johnston, whose mother was most likely Jewish-Irish, which is the key to jumping queue in certain business scenarios, amongst local business competitors. Who is your wife, sir? Who is your mother? Oh, okay, come along. Jump the queue and let's see what you have on offer. And if I am incorrect in this instant, then we are dealing with a Aleister Crowley scenario where the parents were human servants to carriers and how they generated their mediocre savings. Not noble, as Aleister Crowley wasn't from a noble family, but human servants. It gets even more interesting with Katie Price's stepfather Paul Price, knowing top-gear men like Nigel Farage and more, having been in construction businesses, who was charged with rape charges during a boring and played-out 2016 Freemasonry humiliation ritual. So, turns out it's not only Ham Cheese Sandwich Project K, Cassidy, S. Parks, Shrimpy, Fulford, Bases, MJM, Skeptical Septic, Miss Eisenhower, H. Coutts, Sasha Stone, brown curly hair, Sean Stone, and God, the list goes on in the tight Z-list celebrity swamp. I wouldn't be surprised anymore if Max Spire's grandparents, film star grandfather, have stems and Sarah Adams. Honestly wouldn't. Side note, nothing shocks me anymore in the swamp, but I suspect something far more sadder in Max's case related to this grandfather and the dangerous attention from Vatican assassins. Nevertheless, if you are not one of them, you get called septic, like Miles J. calls me septic in that strange circle. But you know when he doesn't call me Miss Septic. When he steals and plagiarizes other people's trending topics and work. Very common amongst certain breed. I suppose other non-chosen people in God's chosen people's eyes are not worth referencing if they are not part of. Other people are disposable, I suppose. Well, what is the moral with these discussions? Well, it's a very deep and important moral that others will not lean into. We are not talking about any more plain old corruption that we see in the world, where all best job positions are distributed to own kind, and hustles, checks and monies are shared and divided amongst contractors and employment roles. No, we are talking about entirely different narrative, the occult, in the stardom fields. Firstly, if you are not affiliated, don't serve the carriers or don't carry. You will not get to upper echelon stardom that easily. So in short, you need to carry, or have had parents who were human servants and served those who carried. That is only step one. If you don't have those two ingredients, it becomes quite complicated. Step 1 is test period before attending eyes wide shut parities to get into real stardom and enter into blood debt. And that is what has happened with Katie Price. And if you want to know deep occult historic reasons to why I raise these matters repeatedly lately, well, you need to read 5 to 9 Occult World for that. A heavily historic, political literature on the Hebrew and global history. Find out more in 5 to 9 Occult World about the moral and why this world is upside down and how to resolve it. And on further about the global political predictions in many countries which are quite alarming, which is very deep and not just superficial, shallow, basic claims. I would like to change Oscar Wilde's famous quote at this stage. We are all living in the gutter, but some of us see themselves above the simple people, and on degrees of stars. 5 to 9 Occult World book on Amazon now.